Hi, I'm Pam Cullen from 3 Mile Pond Girl Creates, and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Augusta, Maine. And today I'd like to show you how I made this really pretty fun fold card using the Awash and Beauty Designer Series paper. So let me show you how this card works. So we have this first layer, which is called a spanner, and I did get this idea from another demonstrator, and I can't remember what her name is, and I want to give her credit for this design. And so when I find her name, I'll put it in the description below this video so she gets credit. I changed mine up, used different paper and different sentiments, but this is her fold design, so I wanted to make sure that I mention her name in there, so I will do that. So I love this, how this flap opens, and then you have this second flap on the inside with this nice little other sentiment in there. And then this piece opens and you have a space to write your personal message to whoever you're sending the card to. And you also bring the outside of the card to the inside of the card with a couple of more strips of that designer series paper. So I just think this is a really, really beautiful card, wonderful design, and the beauty of it is it's not hard to make at all. So let me show you the pieces that we're going to use to put this card together. So the first thing we need is a card base of Balmy Blue that's 5.5 by 8.5 scored at 4 1/4. And then we need our pieces for the outside and the inside. We have our white piece for the inside. We have the designer series piece for the center of the outside. We have 4 strips of that designer series paper for these pieces on the outside and the inside of the card. I've already put this together, but this is the piece that connects the whole piece together on the front. We need a couple of pieces of scrap for our sentiment piece on the front, and a little piece of scrap white for the celebrate sentiment on the inside of the card. So I will have all the descriptions and measurements and all of that stuff on my website, as well as in the description below this video. So don't worry about taking all that time, and I'm not going to tell you what all of those are right now. But again, if you want to make this card yourself, you can do that, and I will be sure to put all the measurements and products that I used in the description. And the beauty of this is that if you didn't have this Awash and Beauty designer series paper, once you get the basic design of this card, you can make it with any kind of designer series paper that you have in your paper stash, which if you're like me, you have a lot of paper in your paper stash. So so anyway, but I'm running low on this one because I love this card, and I am actually, our team challenge for our swap cards for this month were to make a fun fold card. So this is my card for the team swap challenge, and I've just about used every bit of this pattern of this designer series paper for those swaps. So hopefully we can get through this video because I'm almost out of paper. Anyway, all right, so let me show you the hardest part about this, making this card, and it's not hard at all, but the rest of it is just basically gluing down our pieces and stamping our sentiments. So this is the only piece that we really need a little instruction on. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this down at 1 1/4 on both sides of the front of our card base. So I'm lining that up at 1 1/4, and then I'm going to bring my trimmer blade down, and we're only going to go as far as this score line, and we're not going to go past that score line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my cutting blade down, and I'm going to stop a little bit before it, because I'm afraid I can't see real well, and I'm afraid I'm going to go past it, and we don't want to go past it. So if I have to trim that with my trimmers, I can do that. See, we've got a little bit there, but so then I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to line it up again at 1 1/4. And then I'm going to go from the bottom of this, and I'm going to go up. And see, I've got some more space that I need to trim right there. But like I said, I just don't want to take a chance on cutting past it. So I'd rather trim it with my snips. So I'm just going to bring in my paper snips, and I'm going to go ahead and just trim this up to that edge. I'm going to try to trim up to that edge. Let's see here. All right. There we go. And I'm going to do the same over here. I just need to do a little bit of a trim right there. There we go. So there's the front of our card. And that, like I said, that's the hardest part of the whole, of putting this together. So we'll take that away. And then we're going to go ahead and put this together. I'm just going to grab a bone folder and give that a nice little burnish so that it closes up a little bit better. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to just take our pieces and we're going to glue them down. So I'm just going to take these and see which ones I want on the front and which ones I want on the inside, because I kind of want them to match. So it looks like, because I've got some of that pink flower on this one and this one, I'm going to go ahead and put those two on the front. And then we'll put these other two on the inside, and that way it will kind of tie in together and coordinate a little bit better. So then I'm just taking some of my liquid glue, and I'm just going to put a little bit on that, and let's see. I think I'm going to put it so that the pink flower is facing in. And I opened this up to lay it down just so I can try to get that centered as even as possible on up and down and side to side. And the liquid glue is kind of nice for that because it lets you wiggle it a little bit. So I'm going to put that one there, and again, we've got a little bit of that pink flower here, so I think I'll put it like that. So we'll just glue that one down. Go. And then we'll put our kind of our focal piece in the center of that. Right there, and do the same thing, top and bottom, side to side, and kind of make sure it's lined up with those other two pieces as well, so it's kind of there we go. And now we can work on the inside. So what I did when I got to the inside was I put this piece down, kept that flap down so that I could kind of get a sense of where I wanted where my pieces would line up the best with that as well. Oops, I can't get a hold of that. So I'm gonna put those down on either side. Same thing, lining it up. You're trying to get your top and your bottom all the same height. Right, I'm going to put this one going this way. Right, see what I mean? This card is going together really quickly. So the last piece we need to glue down is our white piece for the sentiment. So this one, I just kind of used this kind of, I tried to line it up just from that. I think I did pretty well. So there, we've got all of our basic pieces put together. So the next thing I think we'll do is we'll go ahead and do our stamping. And so I'll bring in my Mary Merlot ink pad, cover on my glue. And we're going to go ahead and stamp, and I've already cut those for video purpose reasons. So you would just put your circle, small circle on the white and the bigger circle on your blue. run that through your cut and emboss machine, and then you would get these two pieces, those two pieces that we're going to use for the front sentiment. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that piece in and bring our small white piece in, and we're going to go ahead and stamp both of our sentiments on there. So I'm going to start with my circle, and I'm going to put that down. Whoops, just hit the camera with my head, I'm sorry. I'm going to just put that in the center of that. Whoop, there we go. And then we're going to do the celebrate on our white piece, kind of centered in the middle. There we go. All right, that's all the stamping we need to do. So the next thing we're going to do, the one thing we're going to do before we put our long piece on, is we're going to go ahead and put that celebrate on here, because what we're going to do is we're going to then put this piece over that and cover it up. So you want to do that step first, and then we can decide where we want to put the spanner piece. So I'll just, again, the only thing I'm using my liquid glue for this whole card. The only thing we're going to put on dimensionals is the sentiment, the circles on the front. But you can use your tape, you can use your, it's not snail anymore, you can use your tape runner. I'm so terrible at remembering the names, but seal, I think that's what it's called. You can use that, you can use liquid glue, you can use whatever your adhesive of choice is for this. Mine, I like the liquid glue because I sometimes struggle to get things even. So then we're going to glue our two pieces together here. We're getting really close to done on this card, and see what I mean? It was not difficult to make. And it's really, I think anybody who got this card would be really happy to get it. And with that sentiment, it could be used for any special occasion. I think it would be a really pretty Mother's Day card, or a special birthday card, or any other special day that anyone was having. So because this card is going to open and close a lot, I'm going to go ahead and use tear and tape on the edges of this to just make it a little bit sturdier than glue or tape, the regular tape. So I'm going to put 2 strips of tear and tape on each side of this, and you can use your scissors, take a pick, you can use whatever you want to cut this with. I just always use my fingers because I feel like it's easier, faster. And then I'm going to just peel that paper off of there. Use your take a pick tool. I have this little picky tool that I use for everything. So I'm going to use that, and we're just going to peel this white piece off. Last one. Okay, so then, yep, that's directional, so move that out of the way. So now we're going to, before we completely stick that down, we're going to make sure that we're lined up side to side, and it's going to go all the way over to the edges, and that we're covering up that celebrate. So it's kind of like a peekaboo. You get in there, it's like, oh, there's another. So that is hidden underneath there, like that. So, and you see, you want to be careful. You want to make sure that your tear and tape doesn't go too far over, because you don't want any of the rest of that to get stuck down. So you want to be sure that when you're putting your tear and tape on, you're only going to the edges. And I see right here, I've got a little bit of extra paper right here. So I'm going to take my trimmers, and I'm just going to trim that little bit of excess off it. Sorry, it's sticky because the tear and tape's on there, so my scissors don't like it. I have two sets of these snips, one for one for on sticky stuff and one for paper, and I should have another one for ribbon. So the last thing we need to do to finish up this card is we're just going to put that sentiment on the corner. So I'm just going to bring in a couple of dimensionals, and we're going to put those right down here. And I'm actually putting them on here instead of on my sentiment piece because I want to make sure that it's not overlapping any of this that's going to hinder this opening piece. So I'm just going to take the backs off those. And then what I did when I put the first one together is I kind of opened that again because I just wanted to see where I thought that sentiment piece would look the best for that. I think it looks good right there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So there we are. Here's my first card I made. Here's the second card I made. And see how fast and quickly that went together, but what a beautiful card that is. And it's so fun. I think people get that and they'll open this and go, oh, that is such a cool card. So I hope you like this card, and thank you so much for stopping by my channel today and watching my video. And if you're watching today and you haven't done so, if you would subscribe to my channel and like this video, I would really appreciate that. And if you click the little bell, you will get a notification every time I post a new video. And if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. And if you don't have a catalog, the new catalog is coming out, and that will go live on May 2nd. So there's a lot of excitement right now about the new catalog and what's in the new catalog, as well as all the retiring stuff. There's stuff now that's up to 60% off because anything that didn't carry over into the new catalog is going to retire and go on sale. So you can head over to my website on the Shop Now button, and you can see what's retiring and what's on sale. And if you have any questions, I would love to answer them, and all my contact information is below this video. So thank you so much for stopping by today, and I hope you enjoyed this card. Take care and see you soon.